Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to Storytime, Batman KnightQuest. In Batman Knightfall, Bane broke the Batman and severely injured Bruce Wayne's spine, and Bruce asked Jean Paul Valley to fill in as Batman. Though warned by Bruce to keep away from Bane, Jean ignored these warnings and fought and defeated Bane, after developing a new costume to go with his more brutal and violent way of doing things. Robin was unable to restrain Jean's impulses, and before he could warn Bruce that he had made a mistake, Bruce left town to search for Robin's kidnapped father, Jack Drake, and Bruce's doctor, Shondra Kinsolving. Still, Nightfall ended on a hopeful note, as Jean held a broken Bane at his mercy and restrained himself from killing him. Jean Paul's father was a killer, the avenging angel Azrael who policed the ancient order of Saint Dumas, which trained both him and Jean Paul. But perhaps Jean's mind is stronger than the system, the hypnotically placed fight training that allows him to be Batman. Perhaps. This new version of Batman turned many readers away from the book, while many more complained in the letter columns as they watched him drag the name of Batman through the mud with his reckless actions. But many held on because Bruce never left the books entirely, and his story of world-spanning adventure to rescue the kidnapping victims will appear as KnightQuest The Search, while issues that detail Jean's mission in Gotham bear the subtitle The Crusade. It has been suggested that KnightQuest was meant as a parody of the worst elements of 90s comics, the amount of blades, guns, and lethality found in Jean Paul's Batman equaled only by the amount of psychological trauma. The drive towards humanizing characters in the 60s and 70s had morphed into a grim and gritty style in the 80s which dominated many comics, and by the 90s it was trying to outdo itself and spinning its wheels, creating heroes and foes more ridiculous than reality, rather than tapping into it. So some think this was all meant as a shocking what-if scenario, as in, what if we, the Batman writers, actually tried to make this the Batman for a new age? Some see it as a more earnest tale of a hero who had potential, but simply made mistakes along the way, trying to match the brutality of the world he operated in, a world that broke the last Batman. I invite you to make up your own mind about that as we go along. Now, let's begin. Wild Wild East. The movie was fun, the dinner terrific if a little expensive, but you only live once. And it's such a beautiful night they decided to walk through Gotham Park on their way back to the hotel. "Run, Ellen! Head for the trees!" They're from Indiana. He used to be pretty good with his hands, back in the 6th grade. But he can't let them get Ellen and the kids. He's scared. He's damn angry, too. But these are animals he's up against. Young and fast and hungry. "I'm bleeding! Now's your turn, sucker!" Casual violence is a way of life to them. It's done for fun and profit. Until tonight. Tonight, it gets real. "What the heck?" Batman leaps down from the trees, disarming and beating the thugs with their own weapon. Real serious. Real scary. Real painful. Real fast. "Take my money. My watch. It's a good one. Don't hurt me, okay?" Who makes him more disgusted? The predators or their prey? "I'm not one of them. Get out of the park and don't come back." Since ruining Bane, there's been no one interesting to confront. Just street thugs and their victims. The streets are quiet. A maddening stillness. Two men dressed as cowboys choose to rob the same bank at the same time purely by coincidence. They team up on the spot, and while celebrating their success later, discuss the idea of twins separated at birth who nonetheless followed similar paths in life, and decide this must be the case with them. Now more confident than ever in their abilities, they head for the crown jewel of the criminal world, Gotham. Jean wakes from a dream to a vision of his patron, Saint Dumas, who tells him he has a lonely crusade set for him, and to succeed, he must be transformed beyond simply being Batman. He says this will be a noble transformation, to become a demon, that the city might be redeemed. Jean feels humbled as the vision fades. He continues to upgrade the costume, this time removing the belt, moving its components to his gauntlets. While in Harold's shop looking for parts, he discovers a pathway to a new invention, a subway rocket Batmobile. The speedometer goes up to 250. This could be much faster than the Batmobile if he can learn to use it. The cowboy twins try to knock over mid-range criminal Big Dan's card game. They gun down two of his men, but he decides to offer them a job instead, a real score. They agree that they came to town for big-time action, and agree to the mission, an old-fashioned gunfight. Late-night crowd on the A-line out of Danning Hills. Worn-out bar crawlers and folks coming off second shift. A roar and a rumble. The platform shudders. It's louder than the usual train. It's not the usual train. Vroom. 183 seconds from the pneumatic tube station that time forgot. He's already under the harbor and blowing past Gate Street toward Midtown, hitting 150 per using minimum thrust. The jet engines are here for emergencies. Good idea if he studied the transit maps. Memorize the schedules and switches. The system will be a big help with that. Nowhere in Gotham is out of his reach now. He likes that. Too bad about the empty seat. Wasted valuable space. This train only carries one. Robin tries to sneak into the Batcave to use the computer, but finds the passage from his home has been bricked up by Jean Paul. The message is clear. No Robins allowed. The cowboys arrive at their meeting in matching outfits and order the men they meet there to draw. The cowboys gun down the opposition with ease and figure they're going to do all right in the big city. Beneath the city, something blasts through the subway tunnels, drawing attention above. All from the D train interchange under City Hall, rocketing under the river toward Tri-Corner. Holds snug to the turns even at speeds over 100. Double that on the straight runs. Not much traffic at this hour. But it only takes one train on the wrong track. Or two trains on the right track. Heading toward each other at a combined speed of 300 miles per hour. He calculates it will be 1 second to impact. Runaway. Bane, his henchman, Leha, the demon beast. Since learning his true identity and taking up the mantle of the Bat, he's faced them all, only to be defeated by the D Express to Hartford Circle. Damn that hunchback, and damn this machine of his. Brake, scream, and shudder, not slowing enough. Combined impact of more than 200 miles per hour, only one option. Canopy spins to the rear, blast shield up. Fire forward jet engine. Suddenly he's pulling 3 Gs. The tunnel becomes a fiery blur. Speedometer redlines. He curses Harold and then praises him. Lifted from death's icy grasp on a tail of fire. The whole experience is beautiful. But he'll really have to pick up a subway schedule in the morning. No one was hurt, but the city had to shut down the tunnel for 6 hours while crews worked without water to put out the fire on the electrified tracks, and that train operator is going to be shaken up for quite a while. The police assume it must have been a bomb. The event makes the news and upsets the Drake's housekeeper, but Tim Drake has no time or attention for it, as his driver's license has finally arrived in the mail. He rushes to the cave to retrieve the sports car Bruce prepared for him, the Redbird. Good thing he knows more ways into the cave than Jean does. Big Dan is thrilled with the cowboys' work, who he names the Trigger Twins, after an old comic book duo he loved. He has a new job for the twins, a job he's been planning for 10 years, and is right up their alley, a train robbery. The Gotham subway collects all the fares from across the city with one train in the night, over $3 million in change. It's called the Money Train. I found my own way into the Batcave. Paul probably doesn't know about this shaft. He closed up the tunnel from under my dad's house. I'm sure he sealed the entrance to the Wayne mansion. Somebody has to tell him I've got as much right to be here as he does. Maybe more. The car's here, but nobody's home. Fine with me. I don't need the hassle. The new costume gives me the creeps. Paul hasn't done much to clean up after Bruce's fight with Bane. I guess this stuff doesn't mean much to him. Tim finds the broken case which used to house Jason Todd's costume. I know it doesn't. None of these memories are his. But he's taken the time to make some changes of his own. A shooting range? This is not good. I'll just get what I came for and go. Paul doesn't even have to know I was here. I like it better that way. I've already got enough madness in my life. A sleazy producer out in LA takes a momentous phone call from a major Gotham criminal with a very wide grin who wants to make a movie of his own life. Back at the cave, Jean Paul removed the second seat in the subway rocket and replaced it with a computer loaded with the train layout and schedule. Just then, Jean sees the motion alarm in the cave has been tripped and deduces that Robin could be here. Tim has found his sports car, remembering Bruce's promise that it would be his when he got a license. Suddenly, shurikens strike the wall in front of him. What? I thought I made it clear that you're not welcome here. Maybe I don't take a hint so well. And I am supposed to keep an eye on you until Bruce returns. If he returns. You know, your attitude sucks, Paul. Not Paul. Batman. Jean fires more shurikens at Robin. Tim backflips, dodging them.
The Batman!
Oh, great. He's losing it. Add that to the fact he's programmed from birth to be an assassin, and I mean way deep.
I don't need you. You're a hindrance, as well as a security risk. I'll never know why Bruce hammers himself with a partner.
Tim blocks Jean's claws with his staff. Robin's earned his place by Batman's side, and I've earned my place as Robin. Robin unleashes a series of jump kicks against Batman. Ask King Snake. Ask the Joker. I beat them on my own.
Ooh.
Never as much on my own as I am now.
He trained you well, Robin, and you made him proud. I'll grant you that. That's in the past.
Batman fires more shurikens at Robin, who dives between the cars.
The transformation is complete. The Crusade begins. The mantle is mine now. And the cave. And the city. I took it from Bane. It's mine, and I've decided you're no use to me.
Jean grapples up to a stalactite to find Robin. This isn't what I signed up for. I can never earn this guy's respect. I'm not sure that I even want it. Batman drops down on Tim and pins him to the floor.
I'll take on Gotham on my own terms. That means no help from anyone. I'll accomplish what Wayne could never do. Because he was weak. Because he was compassionate. I'll wash the scum of Gotham into the sewers. I'll take them all down. So many that hell won't hold them.
Batman holds Robin in the air with one claw around his neck.
They will fear me as they never feared him.
Continued in Robin number 1. Will there be a Robin number 2? Outcast. I didn't think it could end like this.
Wayne needed you, but I don't.
I knew there was a chance I could die. A real good chance. I've been close a bunch of times. A Joker, Scarecrow, Killer Croc, and Bane.
You're nothing but a threat to me.
I never thought I'd buy it from someone handpicked to replace Batman. Bruce could never have foreseen this. That doesn't mean I'm just gonna let it happen. Robin removes his R emblem and stabs Jean in the arm with it, breaking his trance-like state and his grip.
Oh.
And Robin falls to the floor.
I'm sorry.
It's like his mind is clear for just a second. Something is seriously wrong here.
I don't know why I did that.
Keep your distance, Paul.
But I didn't mean to hurt you.
This is getting uglier by the second.
It's just that I have so many responsibilities now. So many things to think about. And then the system kicks in and...
This is scarier than when he was trying to kill me.
It's just better that I work alone.
Tell me about it.
You have to understand. Bruce had a lifetime to become Batman. It's been less than a year since I found out that I'm more than just Jean Paul Valley. I'm the Avenger Azrael. And then I'm given all this, and a city to protect, and...
I don't need a hammer to fall on me.
Robin?
It's time for this bird to fly.
Robin? Robin!
I take the red bird and leave Paul in my rear view. Part of me is sad to be leaving the Batcave for what might be the last time.
Come back! I can make you understand. I'm only doing my best.
But without Bruce, it's not the Batcave. It's just a hole in the ground.
I'm only doing what's right.
A grave full of memories. Robin drives out of Batman's story at this point and fully into his own book, where he'll spend most of his time on unrelated adventures. Town Tamer. The Trigger twins make their move, pulling their guns and announcing themselves. They warn the subway guards not to fight back, they're not paid enough. The guards put down their guns, but the ticket taker decides otherwise, and opens fire on them with a small revolver from his booth. The twins quickly gun him down, leaving the others unharmed and taking them as hostages as they head for the station. A passerby robbing the open ticket office is kind enough to call in the situation and location. Batman is speeding along the tracks in his subway rocket, telling himself he had to turn Robin away for his own good, when he hears the robbery go out over the radio in coded language. He activates the rocket's thrusters, rushing to beat a train to the track he needs. The Trigger twins threaten to kill their hostages, using them to gain entry into the money train just as the police arrive behind them. The twins fire at the police from the train as it begins to move. One cop is hit, and his partner calls in the train's new location along with his call for help. Batman makes his intersection by 2 seconds, using the computer he installed to chart his path. Deducing the criminal's plan to escape by river, he plots a course to intercept the train, now outdoors on Gotham's elevated tracks. The police have prepared an ambush, but the train has avoided it by switching to the express line. Batman soon appears on the track behind them.
300 miles per hour. Throwing on the spoilers. Don't want to ram them.
Good thing I brought the Winnie. Let's see how this coyote likes the taste of 4440.
Ain't a buffalo, Tom. And it ain't bull neither, Tad.
The bullet bounces off the windshield.
They're shooting at him with an antique. This city is a madhouse.
You're wasting precious lead, brother. That sucker's bulletproof and ironclad.
I ain't aiming at the bushwhacker no more, Tad. I'm shooting for that switch.
Tom hits the switch, and Batman's rocket is switched to a parallel track.
Didn't anticipate this. He regrets not hitting them at ramming speed. He scans the track layouts categorized forever in his mind by this system. This is a siding that dead ends at Robbins Avenue. Programming the rocket to slow onto the siding. 1/8 of a mile left to make this work.
Batman stands on the canopy of his rocket.
Catching up. Matching speed. One shot at this. Could miss. Could be dragged. Could impact on the tunnel wall at 200 per.
From the rocket on the nearby track, Batman fires his grappling hook at the speeding train.
Arm nearly wrenched from its socket. 2-ton test cable hums. A sheer claws at him, tearing him off the roof. No handholds. Mega handhold. He digs his claws into the roof.
Something's making a hellacious noise on the roof.
Something dead.
The twins fire into the roof while Jean rolls down the train to avoid their shots.
Don't hear nothing. Listen close, you can hear him bleeding.
Batman leans down and fires shurikens through the back door, making Tom drop his guns.
Tom!
You yellow-bellied backshooter! You're looking for some Texas payback!
Gunning for me, brother.
You're messing with Bloodkin now, hoss. Maybe that don't mean much to y'all city boys, but we takes it real serious. Eat lid, you ugly critter! Tam climbs onto the roof and fires at Batman until a grappling claw grabs his gun.
What?
Batman brandishes his claws.
Draw.
So it's blades, huh, masked man? That suits me fine. Tam pulls a knife. Keeps it more personal. Jean grabs his arm and headbutts him.
Ah! Broke my nose, son of a...
Jean finishes him off with a roundhouse kick to the head.
Tom? You okay, brother?
Hey! Who are you?
I'm the new sheriff, partner.
Batman pulls Tom onto the roof and subdues him.
Stop the train.
Huh? Who said that?
I did. You can stop the train now.
Meanwhile, at an abandoned movie studio on the outskirts of Gotham. This is the place? You sure?
This is the address you gave me, pal.
Oh, well. Mr. Kerr? Calvin Berkowitz here from Paragon Pictures. Mr. Kerr? The movie executive is blinded by a light.
Act 1. Scene 1. Take 1. Cameras to speed for the filming of the making of The Death of Batman, the motion picture.
Coming soon to a comics rack near you. Bruce has followed a trail of clues from Gotham and the kidnapping of Shondra Kinsolving and Jack Drake all the way to Santa Prisca, coincidentally also the home of Bane and his Venom. Selina Kyle had stowed away on Bruce's plane and promptly disappeared into her own adventure upon arrival. As Bruce and Alfred's plane landed at the small island's airstrip, they were being watched by men with guns. Bruce's mute helper Harold installed a wide range of useful devices in his wheelchair before they left, and Bruce uses its surveillance equipment to scan the area. The ambush he expected is sprung, and Bruce hits a button on his chair, deploying knockout gas. The superhero and Justice League member Bronze Tiger comes to his rescue and fights off the rest of the thugs. Bruce has made arrangements with the Justice League for some protection during his search in Santa Prisca, and Bronze Tiger has been assigned as his bodyguard. Jack Drake and Dr. Shondra Kinsolving are being held by a gang of men who are simply contracted to retrieve her for an unknown patron. When his men don't return from the ambush, he sends a team to destroy Bruce's entire hotel with rocket launchers. Subtlety is not his strong suit. Santa Prisca is the closest thing the modern day has to a pirate nation. They ignore all laws and treaties, and the country is a hotbed for smugglers and weapons of all kinds, as well as everything else of value. The crew fire 4 high-tech missiles all at the same time into every side of the hotel where Bruce is staying. The building collapses, reduced to rubble in mere seconds. No one could have gotten out alive. Bronze Tiger and a Justice League member unfortunately named with a Romani slur, whom I will call Esmeralda, survey the destroyed building. They're certain Bruce and Alfred are buried underneath. Luckily, Bruce and Alfred spent the night in a tent Harold also built into the chair, Bruce having expected a major attack. They had already been attacked once, and their location was known, so they simply camped in the woods. They emerge and link back up with the heroes to plan the rescue. Bronze Tiger is attacked by a large guard dog while patrolling the woods outside the suspected location, a large hacienda. Green Arrow rescues him and reveals he has experience in the area and was asked to provide backup and remain hidden until needed. Esmeralda uses her invisibility to slip in and start a fire, distracting the guards inside. The smoke is the signal for the heroes outside to begin their assault. Green Arrow disarms the guards by firing arrows into their gun barrels while Bronze Tiger knocks the others out. They see the boss loading the kidnapping victims into a helicopter, Jack Drake on a gurney. The heroes take out the guards around Shondra, and she has the chance to escape, but she climbs into the chopper instead, saying that her patient needs her. The Leaguers stopped a gang of terrorists, but they failed to rescue the innocents. Back at square one for the moment, but undeterred, Bruce resolves that he will continue his search, and in the end, he will succeed. Animal rights. Selina Kyle is told about a deadly neurotoxin called Zyklon C, and she is shown a videotape of what it can do. The tape shows that all animal life in a dense rainforest jungle has been killed by it. Selina agrees that she must keep this out of the hands that are seeking it. The scientist who developed the toxin is on his way to meet with Catwoman's gang when he is attacked on Gotham's streets. Luckily, Batman hears his cry for help. Jean grapples across the city blocks toward the sound of the scream. The new improvements to the costume are working well. He laments the brief time he spent as Azrael. He was always meant to be the Batman. Azrael could only kill, but being the Batman is better, because as a hero, he can save lives. As he nears the scuffle, he thinks that in the past, thugs like this might have enjoyed mercy from the old Batman. But not this Batman. Jean lands in front of the thugs and demands they let the man go. They release their victim and attack him instead. The first takes his best shot at punching Batman in the chest, but he stands there and lets the armor take it. The man feels like he's broken his hand. One of the thugs runs in fright as another pulls a gun. Jean fires a shuriken into his hand and he instantly drops it. Batman grabs the first thug and throws him into the two that didn't run, ending the fight. He tells the scientist to phone the police and leaves the man to collect his papers. The scientist makes it to Selina's gang, a group of environmental activists, and tells them about the attack and Batman saving him. On the news, they all see an artist's rendition of the new cybernetic Batman, which is ridiculously exaggerated, with wires going into an exposed skull. Selina can't help but wonder still, what happened to the man she knew? Catwoman sneaks into a chemical warehouse at the docks, planning to steal a harmless substitute and to pass that off to the terrorists who are seeking the Zyklon C. First, though, Selina steals and hides the real item where it won't be found. However, she doesn't realize that she's being watched by Gotham's new protector. Night becomes woman. Muggers, drunks, dopers, and pimps. An uneventful night. Until now. Right-eyed, magnify. Until she enters it. Catwoman. A living shade of raw, sleek darkness. Brazenly furtive. Vividly tantalizing. She moves in grace through mystery. Close enough to glimpse, too distant to reach. And then she's gone, leaving me fascinated, but somehow doubting the magnified evidence in my own eye. Vision normal. Was she ever really there? And if so, why was she there? Why was she running free? Why has the former Batman never taken her down for good? Line, taut. Grapnel, release. Was Bruce Wayne also fascinated by her grace and mystery? Line, retract. Was he ever close enough to reach her? Did it touch her? If so, was the touch rough or tender?
Almost dawn. Maybe I'll dream about her. A cat burglar slipping and gliding through the night, her body cutting the darkness in whispers. A thief who takes more than the bright glitter of diamonds and pearls. A woman, a shadow, who can steal a man's eye and his imagination, maybe even his heart, if it's dark enough.
Commissioner Gordon summons Batman to warn him about the terrorists who are after the Zyklon Sea. He tells Gordon that he saw Catwoman stealing it last night and promises to investigate further, convinced that she is the villain. Gordon wonders to himself why Batman is misjudging Catwoman, but figures it's something personal between them. Jean researches Catwoman and the neurotoxin on the Batcomputer, now disgusted with himself for being tempted by someone with such evil intent. He wonders if Bruce was similarly tempted, and that's why he never took her down. He won't make the same mistake. Batman places motion sensors on the 3 warehouses that contain the remaining chemical component the terrorists will need, and waits between all 3. When the alarm at the one he's closest to goes off, he races there in the Batmobile. Inside, Catwoman is actually there to steal the harmless substitute, not the catalyst to activate the neurotoxin.
Yes, hear it.
Bling! Batman shines a light on Catwoman and fires a warning shuriken.
Don't even touch it.
On a catwalk? My, haven't we changed?
And you, from mere theft to terrorist blackmail, or at least accomplice. Symbol off.
He jumps down to her level.
That's not funny. I'm not laughing. And there's no way you leave here with the atropine.
The Zyklon catalyst? I'm not after that. I took the neurotoxin to prevent it from becoming active in the first place. I'm after benzotrilene, a harmless substitute.
Drop the whip.
All right. Maybe you will see reason if I'm harmless.
No closer.
But there's so much, and yet nothing, between us at this distance.
I said...
What's the matter? Is the big bad bat afraid of a mere cat?
She's trying to tempt me, trick me, but I still can't do it. Can't bring myself to fire the shurikens. Can't spill the first blood.
Catwoman approaches Batman and he grabs her.
That's close enough.
You're right. Close enough to realize you're not him, are you?
How does she know? I've mastered the rough, grating voice. Even Robin once thought I was Bruce Wayne. What do you mean?
The real Batman wouldn't be afraid of my approach.
Fear doesn't enter it.
And the real Batman would never suspect me of any terrorism. Not even bluffed blackmail. It's not my style.
Profit is your style.
Not from something like nerve gas. The Batman would know that.
I am the Batman.
Maybe a Batman, but you're not him. Which means he was badly hurt by Bane.
I overcame that. I beat Bane.
That still doesn't make you him. And there's other evidence.
What other?
Call it heat. Pheromones.
Fear of?
Biochemical attractants. The real Batman reeks of them. You're almost sterile.
That's enough. Put your hands behind your back. I'm going to tie you up.
Don't you wish? Catwoman knees Batman in the stomach and flip kicks off of him and away. Maybe you did beat Bane. Maybe you are tough. But I'm betting you've yet to face someone with smarts, finesse, and... Catwoman picks up her whip. Technique. She wraps Batman with her whip. And now, who's tying whom?
She's more than I dreamed, with incredible moves. But I've seen enough. Time to let her escape.
Jean breaks her whip and swings her into some barrels by yanking it. One barrel falls down, which Catwoman dodges. Close, but still easy to evade, because it's only one. Let's see how he fares with more. Selina knocks the rest of the barrels down, swiftly dodging out of the fall zone as they crash down on top of Batman.
I gave her an exit. She's added a twist I didn't anticipate. I'd planned a momentary lack of pursuit, but now, maybe I won't have to fake it.
Batman is buried in the barrels. Outside, Jean sees Catwoman escaping, and he chases her.
Vowed she would fall, and maybe I was wrong, in denial. Maybe I've fallen, and fallen hard, but she still goes down. I held back in the warehouse, shamed myself. just like my dreams. This time, I hold nothing back. This time, I make the cat howl.
Dark Dance. His chase is interrupted by another vision of Saint Dumas. Jean knows these phantoms are planted in his mind by the system, but that doesn't make them feel any less real. Momentarily, though, it vanishes, and he resumes the chase. Batman chases Catwoman into a boathouse and finds her stolen neurotoxin, boarding the ship she is stealing just as it bursts out into the harbor.
She cuts the boat hard, trying to shake me off. It won't work, but she's magnificent. I move toward her, keeping my eyes on her head and hands, ignoring the taut sleekness of her back. She enters the river, slashing the boat deeper into the heart of the city. You're taking the nerve gas to your terrorist buyers.
I'm getting rid of it, keeping it out of the wrong hands. Out of all hands.
She knows I'm close enough to strike now, but doesn't know I won't, as long as she's still cutting the wheel. She releases it, turning to defend herself. Now.
Batman lunges at Catwoman as she turns. She kicks him in the face.
A good kick, not enough to stop me. I slam down, driving her into the wheel. It spins, and the boat slews sharply toward the pier. We're going to crash.
You and I already have. Batman chokes Catwoman and she claws his helmet.
But neither one of us will let go. Until...
She headbutts him, freeing herself.
Whoop. She catches me by surprise.
Catwoman flips to the back of the boat and grabs the neurotoxin. And now you can crash without me. She dives off the ship. Batman grapples away just before it strikes the dock. The boat crashes and explodes, destroying the wooden dock. Batman emerges from the water among the burning timbers and continues chasing Catwoman on the shore. The chase continues onto the rooftops of the warehouse district. Finally, Batman jumps on Catwoman, knocking the canister from her grip. Selina extends spikes from her boot and kicks Batman, then slashes at him with her claws. She kicks the canister through a window into the warehouse below. It rolls to a stop among statues of gargoyles. Catwoman jumps at Batman and he ducks her kick, but that's exactly what she wanted, and she slips through the broken window. Batman follows her. He hears her whip, but with the studio's echo, it cracked from everywhere. The canister, the cyclone. But why did she leave it there in plain view? Unless she couldn't find it in the dark. Or it's bait for a trap. Catwoman shoves a huge gargoyle suspended from the ceiling, and it swings at Batman. The gargoyle smashes through a large window, Batman narrowly escaping the same fate. Selina jumps down and kicks him, but he catches her with a sweep and trips her. We pass, pivot, and leap, each realizing, too late, already launched in the air, that the other has mirrored the move. We improvise, neither effectively. New steps are called for, but I still can't bring myself to use blades on her. She'd probably dodge them anyway. Her reflex is every bit the equal of mine. But Selina has no problem using her blades on him, slashing his stomach with her foot claws. Neither of us will end this without going all out for the kill.
You're the Knight herself, and a devil for making me want you.
And you're a fool for thinking you can take me.
You will go down.
Never. Not for you.
They punch each other in the face. But I can't go for the kill. And she doesn't.
But I did expect better moves.
No, you didn't. And nor did I. So we crouch in stalemate, neither willing to submit, both prepared to dance till dawn. Or until the dance ends.
What?
Searchlight.
They are caught in a huge floodlight and stop fighting. This is the police. Oh, what you doing? And put your hands behind your heads. Now look what your interference has done.
I didn't launch that stone beast made in flight. If you'd...
Freeze!
You couldn't believe Catwoman is involved in the nerve gas theft, Commissioner. You needed proof. And there's the evidence, right at your feet.
He points to the harmless substitute chemical Selina stole, convinced it is the neurotoxin.
I can't have her. I couldn't take her down. I leave her. Use the evidence to remove her from the night.
No! Hold your fire! Batman flies out the window, leaving Catwoman to the police.
She deserves whatever nightmare she gets. Because she'll still haunt my dreams.
Never would have believed it. The Catwoman turned terrorist. Fools! All of you! Body chemistry. Freeze! That arrogant, pin-headed idiot! He's ruined everything! The police are distracted by the loud roar of a huge jungle cat, and they see a large cat silhouette in a doorway. As they turn and fire on the doorway, Selina makes her escape. After the gunfire stops, Selina pokes her head in. That's not the Zyklon. You can find that hidden on the wharf. And if you want to perform a public service, broadcast the news that you've recovered it.
So you could still collect from the terrorists?
Whoop. Easy, Bullock.
Where is it?
Huh? Just then, Selina's pet house cat saunters out from the doorway.
Meow.
A successful field test for the broadcast collar device. Catwoman uses the bat signal to meet with Batman and tries to explain the situation. She says she's not a threat and convinces Jean to talk somewhere more private. She says the terrorists have kidnapped a scientist who can make what they need if they get the right chemicals. She can feel how badly he wants to take her down, but he agrees to help. At the Batmobile's portable computer, he prints out a list of locations to aid them. They arrive at the correct location, and while Catwoman frees the scientist, Batman chases his captor. The thug tells Batman his friends already took the chemicals at the trade conference to be deployed. The scientist rushes in to tell Batman Catwoman is already on her way there. At the trade conference, the scientist explains to the police that the switch for the harmless chemicals was made as Catwoman intended, and there is no threat. When the bomb goes off, it's nothing but tear gas, and no one is seriously harmed. Catwoman delivers her environmental message from a bullhorn while dangling from a helicopter, before flying away into the night. She's glad Batman didn't seriously harm any of her friends. She's sorry to put them in his way like that, but he was never going to listen to reason. The shadow of the bat falls upon Bruce Wayne. Part 1. The Hood. The Hood is a street-level vigilante who operates in London, where Bruce Wayne's trail has led him. He projects his bat signal into the sky alongside the Hood's own emblem to summon him. I presume you meant to attract me? Yes, I've been following your exploits for months in the tabloids. Wasn't aware I'm known outside England. I make it my business to know. You call yourself Hood after your hero, Robin Hood, and you share the same philosophy, rob the rich to pay the poor. And you're Batman, and all I need to know is, what do you want? I need help. I'll pay for it. Couldn't have read much, Batman, but you'd know I don't take money, any more than you're supposed to. I'm not offering money. Inside you'll find the name of a ship carrying a half-ton of cocaine from Gotham City, date and time of arrival at Tilbury Dock, names of 3 principal suspects. How do I know you're really Batman? This could be a setup. You could be anybody in a costume. I spend most of my life learning how to fight. If you want to try me... It's okay. There's something in your voice. I'll believe you. I'll take your gift. What do I owe you? I want you to break into the offices of MI5, the Secret Service. Batman watches the Hood swing away. How easy it was. How I used to revel in the night. Every fiber of me remembers, crying out to join him in his flight into darkness. Every muscle screams to be free, instead of being racked with burning pain. Batman doubles over in pain. Sir, I warned you about this. Your back's in no fit state, and challenging him to fight. Alfred helped Bruce unstrap himself from the metal pole.
It was the only way.
But you've been getting better. Who knows what damage? Save the recriminations for later, Alfred. Hood's nobody's fool. He'll want to know what this is about. He'll be doubling back, hoping to follow me. Alfred helps Bruce off the roof. Shondra is in the hands of the man who ordered her capture, her foster brother Benedict Asp. By torturing Jack Drake, he forces her to comply with his demands. Bruce exercises in his back brace, leg brace, and bandages while the Hood sneaks into the offices of MI5, British intelligence. Bruce has found a file on the computer connected to Shondra and closed by them, and the Hood secures Benedict's file. Benedict Asp forces Shondra to demonstrate her power. He orders a henchman to cut his arm open. Shondra summons her power, and then he amplifies it. The henchman's wound closes as if by magic. In another room, a machine Benedict has created uses that same power to kill a laboratory mouse. The Hood meets Batman in an alley. Not so fast, friend. Impressive the way you gave me the slip earlier, but not exactly proof that you are who you say. I have plenty of enemies, in government and out. Before I hand this over, I want to be sure. The Hood whips Batman's mask off. Who the devil are you?
Please, sir, don't be hitting me. It was a big gentleman, sir. He asked me to pick something up for you. Gave me a tenner, so he did. You can have it. Take the money. Just don't be hurting me.
Why would I hurt you, friend? We're on the same side. Here, take the file. Give it to your big gentleman.
Thank you, sir. God bless. You're a true knight of the night. No mistake.
Give him a message from me. Tell him nice work. Perhaps fortunate Master Bruce's back was too painful to play the part himself. And definitely fortunate I have a long theatrical tradition behind me. In fact, I sometimes wonder why I ever gave up the stage. Bruce continues to exercise against his doctor's orders, pushing his healing body to its limits. He hasn't changed a bit from his time as Batman. The file reveals Benedict's past as a psionic espionage agent, and Alfred sees that he is also holding a fancy dress ball in town, hosting it at his manor. Bruce decides that they shall go to the ball. Part 2. A Day in the Death of an English Village. A fox hunt has been interrupted by some animal rights activists who have freed the fox. One of the upper-class hunters begins to thrash one of the activists, but he is stopped by a kindly old English gentleman who walks with the use of 2 canes, Sir Hemingford Grey. He also fights with those canes, and soon gives the old chap and his mates what for, before inviting them all to tea and a discussion. Of course, this is Bruce Wayne in disguise. Benedict Asp has crafted a way to store Shondra's psychic healing energies, enhanced by his own energy manipulation power, and to use them to kill at a distance with a concentrated thought. His plan is to extort the world by threatening its leaders, after an appropriate demonstration of its power.
Master Tim?
Alfred! Oh man, it's great to hear your voice. Where are you?
England.
How are you? How's Bruce?
As you might expect, he's overdoing things. I'm a trifle exasperated.
Have you had any luck?
Without wishing to raise hopes too far, your father is still alive, and we may in fact be very close to finding him.
Great!
And how are things in Gotham City?
Well, pretty good, I guess.
You may have heard, Master Tim, that it's impossible to kid a kidder. I have had lessons from the very best. Now, how is it?
Heavy. Weird. Jean Paul's taking the whole thing real seriously. Harold and Ace have vanished. I'm banned from the cave, and Jean Paul's tearing up the night like it was paper.
Do you need us back?
No. Don't worry. I have to go now. Things to do.
Take care.
You too. And please, find my dad.
Bruce, in his disguise as Sir Hemingford Grey, attends Asp's party. He soon sees Shondra being escorted along the building outside a window, and he rushes to greet her. He calls to her, and she looks at him, but of course doesn't recognize him. In any case, she is also being brainwashed, and merely says she doesn't know him, and continues along meekly with the man leading her. Part 3. Curse of the Bat. Bruce chases after them, and he is accosted by several guards. He uses his canes, also enhanced by Harold like the chair, and shocks them, also using strikes and knockout gas to make up for his physical infirmity, and to end the fight. Asp has decided it's time to leave, and he rushes Shondra to escape. She won't leave without Jack Drake, though, so Benedict detaches his oxygen mask and knocks Shondra out, carrying her to the exit. The Hood provides Bruce with backup, dealing with the other guards outside the party while Bruce heads inside to search. He finds Jack Drake in the dungeon, thankfully still alive. Following the party, while Jack Drake is receiving medical care at the hospital, news breaks of an entire town killed by mysterious means, killed by Asp's machine. Bruce has mistakenly come to believe that Shondra is a willing accomplice, but he resolves to find her all the same, only now to bring her to justice. The cutting room floor. The Joker sits in a director's chair labeled J. Kerr.
A picture's worth 1,000 words, right? So rather than go through the treatments and hype, I'll just show you what I'm talking about. Roll the test reel, baby.
A projector starts up.
The Death of Batman, test reel. Take 1, scene 1. Director, Joseph F. Kerr.
This will be the crime of the century. The police will never suspect us. The only thing we need to fear is the Batman.
Jeez, boss.
We're doomed, boys. You criminals are a cowardly and superstitious lot. You quail in terror before the Batman.
The camera pans out to reveal a diminutive Batman.
Cut the projector. They've seen enough. I just wanted to whet your appetites, gentlemen. Now we can talk art and financing.
Brilliant filmmaking, Joker. Top drawer stuff. It's the big opening weekend.
High concept, mega merchandising possibilities, and it tells a story. Paragon Pictures would be interested in developing this.
I'm sorry, Mr. Zeddemore. I had to call you out here and take a meeting with this psycho or he'd have killed me.
Can the hard sale, Berkowitz. This property has box office written all over it.
Huh?
We'll give you $10 million to go into pre-production, but you gotta lose the dwarf.
Egads! I will not despoil my vision. Already my artistic integrity is assailed.
The casting of our little Lenny is at the very core of this film's soul. And a children's-sized costume was all I could get on short notice. So Lenny'll find other work.
Mr. Zeddemore, this man's talking about killing the Batman. For real. He's a homicidal maniac. He's dangerous. He's a criminal.
This is the movie business, Berkowitz. You just listed the man's assets. When can we start shooting footage, Joker?
As soon as casting is completed, Mr. Zedmore.
Lorraine will have contracts faxed to you by morning.
Excuse me for sounding maudlin, Mr. Zedmore.
Call me Barry.
All my life in Gotham, I felt alone, unappreciated. My idiosyncrasies, my sense of fun, all misunderstood, all wasted. And to think that all these years...
I've simply been in the wrong town. Hooray for Hollywood.
And when will casting be complete, Joker?
Shortly, Bear. Our lead is a bit temperamental and not so easy to nail down. But he's the only man for the role. Born to it, you might say.
It might take a few days to get his attention, though.
Help! Dear God, somebody help me! Help me!
Traffic's light on the westward tonight, or he never would have heard her screams. The threat to her is clear, even if the crime isn't. The attackers look vaguely familiar. Batman leaps down to defend the woman.
Oh!
She is being attacked by Hollywood movie monsters. It's as though he's seen them before. Monsters. Creatures that haunt the Late Show. Creatures of someone's design. He can smell the grease paint and latex rubber.
Huh?
Men masquerading as movie horrors. With punches and shurikens, Batman deters her attackers.
Huh?
Some kind of elaborate new gang colors? A clutch of sociopaths reenacting cinema fantasies? He'll have the answer soon enough. They play at fear. He is fear. The monsters flee into the night. But that might have to wait.
You can't just...
She's right. We can't just leave her here alone. The woman begins to collapse and Batman catches her. The blood rush and thunder of the system dies away, leaving a vague pain at his temples. His thoughts are replaced by feelings of what? From a rooftop, Joker has been filming everything.
This wasn't in the script.
Where's the tried and true traditional Batman? He's changed to some kind of metallic outfit. Very techno.
I heard he's done that at the Tangle with Bane, Joker.
The prima donna. I wonder if he's changed his motivation as well as his wardrobe. And where's his teen idol co-star?
You want us to keep filming?
By all means. Perhaps the rushes will reveal something. The camera never lies, you know. I will be back to the coast for a week or so. This project is hot, and I'll be personally involved.
I can't believe this is happening.
Hold on. You had something to say, Cal?
For God's sake, use that phone and call the police! This lunatic has locked us in a dungeon, Barry!
So you're not as pumped and stoked for this deal as I am, Calvin. We took a beating this past summer on Last Goon with a Gun and Armageddon Man 3, and those were your ideas. Personally, I don't think Crocky the Crocodile the movie is going to pull our butts out of the ringer this spring. So the death of Batman is the only going doable property we have that is a prayer of repeat ticket sales. Okay, this Joker guy's a little eccentric, I'll give you that. But I worked with Brando. After him, the Joker is cake.
But it's the real death of the real Batman!
That's what makes it so beautiful. Imagine the publicity. You can't buy that kind of promotion. Let me get this guy up hold. It's 4 a.m. in California, Cal.
People, we have an early start tomorrow. Let's get our beauty sleep. Ciao, baby.
Batman lurks around the girl's college after tracking her down, all the while trying to convince himself it's not about her, but the criminals. Yet he can't keep her off his mind. More movie monsters attack following an explosion in a lab at the science building, and Batman quickly takes them out. Their costumes are, again, only costumes, and they pose no real threat. The stupidity of the crime is what angers him. He hates to feel foolish, and he chases the last of the monsters into a stairway. In the darkness, he finds a movie projector playing footage of his fight last night with the actors. He realizes the girl, too, was only a pawn to get his attention. He then realizes that she still is, and he rushes to her dorm room a few blocks away. He arrives just in time to hear glass breaking. Shh! A body has been pitched out the window, but it's not Cindy Brooks. It's Robin? Smash cut. Batman grapples into the air as fast as he can, plotting a course to intercept Robin. He told the boy he didn't want or need a sidekick. He didn't plan on being the same Batman as Wayne had been. Robin would only be a tag-along, underfoot and inconvenient. Robin isn't moving. He's falling dead. Wait, could he be dead already?
Look at the caped cretin go. As though he has a snowball's chance of saving his little bird buddy.
You are getting this, TC? Every frame, Joker. Batman catches Robin.
I don't believe it. He dares to rewrite my screenplay? Cut! I said cut, you idiot!
Once on the ground, Jean sees that it's not Robin at all. It's Cindy Brooks. She's been drugged unconscious, and the costume is a bad imitation. It's a message from the Joker that Robin is his real target. Batman tells some people passing by to get an ambulance for Cindy before he leaves.
A totally underdramatized first act. I need a tragedy, and instead I get cheap heroics. Sure, it's entertainment, but is it art?
Here's some storyboard you wanted, boss.
Joker defeats Bats and hangs him in front of goons. After beating Bats, Joker ties Bats to train track. Joker drops Anvil out a window and it lands on Bats' head.
Cute. Very cute. You did well, Beamer. But what good is it if the long-eared goof won't cooperate? We need something to punch up the second act. Drag those Hollywood hacks out here and see if they're willing to up my budget.
Joker, old pal, you want to take a meeting?
I want to up the budget, Barry.
No way, Oka J. Paragon Pictures is totally overcommitted to this project.
But I want to add to the cast.
$10 million is all we can advance, my main man.
Then maybe we could cut some of your overhead. Calvin here, for example.
Sorry, Joker babe. Calvin is not exactly a bankable commodity with me.
Then how about the lovely Lurleen? We could eliminate her salary right here and now.
Secretary/models are easy enough to come by. You'll have to cut deeper than that, Joker Tola. Joker points the gun at Barry's head.
Well, maybe a $5 million advance. It'll have to come out of your end of the net.
My end of the gross, Bear. Did you write down the number of my Bahamian account, or should I give it to you again?
Batman researches the Joker on the Bat computer. It's the most extensive file Bruce kept. Jean knows the theme this time is movies, but to what end? He has no idea where it's all headed. All he knows is that he needs to sleep. Tomorrow is going to be a long day. A poster causes a stir at the police station.
Get a load of this.
Whoa. Harvey Bullock brings it to Commissioner Gordon.
Not this again.
It makes the newspaper.
Yo, hold the front page of the Evening Extra, Tony. We got an exclusive here.
I suppose you're wondering why I brought you all here.
Can the theatrics, Joker.
This is a casting call, boys. You're going in there a murderer, but you're coming back a star.
Joker, the death of Batman. You'll believe a Batman can die.
4 stars. I'll give it 4 stars. Don't hit me again.
Wham TV.
A towering cinema achievement. I'd say that even if I didn't have a blowtorch held to my feet.
Good Morning Gotham.
I have to say it's the finest film of the year to date, or the Joker will kill my family.
Gotham Gazette.
You've got to see this movie. My life depends on it.
News Time. Coming soon to the Manchester Majestic Theatre. The Joker presents a Paragon Pictures production of The Death of Batman, starring the Joker, Batman, and a cast of 1,000 killers. Screenplay by the Joker, music by the Joker, based on an original screenplay by the Joker, directed by the Joker, a Joker production. Joker's using a film facility somewhere in Gotham. Arcadia was built to film silence. It's been leased sporadically over the last few decades. A place like this would suit the Joker's temperament. The system kicks in, his mind relaxes as his body tenses.
Batman? Batman?
The girl's voice, weak, frightened, switching to night vision.
Help me. Help me. Please.
It's her. Jean sees someone in a wheelchair.
He hurt me. He hurt me so bad.
The voice, as though it comes from the bottom of a grave.
Please, help me, Batman.
He turns the chair to find a dummy. Another movie moment. A trap door gives way beneath him, and he always thought film going was a waste of time. Batman grabs the trap door with his claws, but he's seen enough to know the Joker is dredging up every cliché. Firing the grapple line, but he knows it's too late. He realizes the Joker's traps are like the movies in more ways than one. They're only make-believe. Rubber crocodiles. The Joker hides his true nature behind tricks and gags. Batman climbs out of the pit. The only way to survive is to see through the illusion. Gargantua is coming! Gargantua is coming! A giant Batman strides through a miniature city set.
Too dangerous! Gargantua coming to Crush City!
To the deadly reality. To assume that nothing is what it seems. And that danger is everywhere. Batman narrowly dodges a giant monster's foot coming down and crushing the buildings. The Joker's toying with him, filming his every move from some hiding place. It's all a game to the Joker. All this is only for his amusement. Batman is hit in the face with a pie. The tinkling of a ragtime piano fills the air. Batman is pelted with pies by silent movie stars. True to their characters, the men before him say not a word. Any one of them could be the real Joker. Wayne would have taken them on hand to hand. He uses his arsenal. Batman fires shurikens at all the actors. Suddenly his feet feel uncertain under him. Disoriented. Dizzy. Room spinning. Pies drugged. Nothing is what it seems. The Batman passes out. When he awakens, he is chained to the floor. Headache like something inside his skull is trying to claw out. Trying to remember where he is. He also awakens to find Cindy Brooks upside down in a tank filling with water. Cindy. Another 3 feet of water and she's dead. There's nothing he can do but watch. Just like in a movie. All the gin joints and all the towns and all the world, you walk into mine. To be concluded.
This is it, baby. The final scene in The Death of Batman. The greatest performance ever put on celluloid. And all you have to do is act naturally.
Losing the light. Joker's goons open fire on the trapped Batman. The cape is reinforced Kevlar and articulated ceramic armor. The body of his costume is a chain-link steel mesh inside a Nomex shell. But it wasn't built to stand up to this kind of point-blank pounding. He's failed. Failed Gotham. Failed himself. Failed the Crusade. Because of him, an innocent will die, martyred by his incompetence. Without him, the city slides into chaos. Yo, what gives here? We're shooting the mook and he ain't dying. These guns are screwed up, man. Jesus, we're firing blanks.
Philistines, please. Have you no sense of drama? Irony? Of course you're firing blanks. I can't have mere extras play out the big scene. After all, it's my name above the title.
Joker pulls his own gun. More illusion. More make-believe. They're all just actors in the Joker's twisted fantasy. Batman fires shurikens into the plate, chaining him to the ground. He wrenches it from the floor. But he has his own reality. The system engulfs him.
Oh man, the freak's on his feet again.
It is the light. It is the way. It carries him before it like a torrent. With his new improvised chain weapon, Batman dives into the thugs.
Ugh.
Ingrates, amateurs, scene stealers.
The Joker fires on his own men. It is rapture and damnation, all in one. Joker watches as Batman tears through the thugs. Something. I can't put my finger on it. as he hurls one into another, fighting with a new brutality. Something's different. The way he moves. Batman's claws tear apart the thug's clothing, drawing blood. The ferocity, the lack of grace, the sheer brutality. They hit the floor hard. It's not him.
It's not bloody him!
The girl. He remembers her as the system surrenders its grip. Batman fires shurikens into the tank containing Cindy Brooks. The glass breaks and the water pours out. The crusade is to redeem as well as avenge, to spare the innocent from harm while punishing the wicked. But the system is blind to the suffering of the meek. Batman quickly frees her.
Will you be all right?
I could have been killed. Nobody said anything about stunt work.
I don't
I quit. It was you that was supposed to get killed, not me. That creep lied to me.
What are you talking about? Who lied to you?
Batman grabs Cindy's arm.
Ow!
Who lied to you?
The Joker, stupid. He told me it would be my big break. I was going to be in all the hot scenes.
You're only playing a part? You were hired?
Yeah, the victim, the hostage. The sweet little co-ed who was supposed to make you go all mushy and lead you in to get jacked up. Well, I'm out of here. The Joker knows where to send my check.
Cindy Brooks storms off set in a huff. The Joker visits Siskel and Ebert backstage.
Ruined. All my plans ruined by some shoddy imposter.
That's not the only problem you have, Joker. This is hardly art. A cult classic, maybe. Really? Tell me more. You've lost direction. The story's become a rambling mess. Where's the theme? Where's the structure? I hate to agree, but I have to. You've lost momentum, pace. A strong first act followed by a melange of random images, and your own performance is a bit forced. Well, well, well. I've got a little review for you, boys. 2 thumbs down. You get that? Every frame, boss. Any critiques? Inspired, boss. Inspired. You should not be surprised.
I played the fool.
You did not know. There are no innocents in the dark city. Only the system may guide you now. Unfetter your mind. Relinquish all thoughts of good and evil. They are illusion. There is only the Crusade. Batman's vision of Saint Dumas fades. The Joker's still here. He has to be. He'd never set so elaborate a scheme and run out on it for the final act. Batman searches through disused movie sets. The Joker's toying with him, irritating him, goading him to making a mistake. The Joker is Wayne's intellectual opposite. Chaos in place of order, nonsense in place of deliberate action. The ardent versus the frivolous. No wonder they are archenemies. But he's not Wayne. He will not be goaded. Batman slashes through a background, moving into a dark room. Gotta dance. Gotta dance. Gotta dance. Gotta dance. He finds the Joker, with the kidnapped movie executives wired to chairs at the top of the piano stairway. He knows the music. He knows the steps. The boy's a natural. But has he noticed that my 3 co-stars are wired up with Semtex collars? Take a wrong step, hit the wrong note, and Paragon Pictures will be looking for a new studio head. That's it. I'm putting this film in turnaround, Joker. I would like to have given you a more artful demise, but since I now know you're just an ersatz bat, well, I just don't have the heart anymore. Make my dailies, you phony. Batman grapples into the Raptors as Joker fires at him. I must say I'm impressed. So many new gadgets. I have some myself. Surprised? The Joker extends a knife from his cane. Joker stabs at Batman as he jumps down to confront him. The moment of truth, bogus man! On guard! The blade finds its way through a seam in his armor. He doesn't feel it. The system blocks the pain. Batman tackles the Joker. Ah! All pain. He hits him with a haymaker. He moves swiftly. No thought. Only pre-programmed skill. Batman fires a shuriken and cuts the line to the explosives. I want you. The explosives are disarmed. Off my set! The Joker tackles Batman down the piano stairway. Just in time to prevent detonation. Batman kicks Joker off through a background. The Joker is still dangerous. Still a menace.
Okay.
He lifts Joker up by the hair.
Okay! Look, I know you're new to this role, baby, but here's the scenario. This is the part where Batsy's beaten me in my little game and he turned me over to the men in the white coats. You following me here?
Still a threat to the Dark City.
I go back to my comfy little padded room with my medication, my electroconvulsive therapy. And you get to play hero, just like always.
Not this time.
What?
Batman breaks Joker's arm at the shoulder.
Ah!
And again at the elbow.
Ah!
Not tonight. Not any night. Your reign is over, Clown Prince. Batman aims his gauntlet at Joker, who lies helpless on the floor. He is stopped by a shotgun placed to his head. That's far enough, masked man. And maybe you figure you have the right to do what you were about to do, but you're wrong. I should run you in, Batman. This once, I'm going to turn a blind eye. We'll handle it from here, without your help. You know, Lieutenant, personally, I think we should have waited outside until the Bat Freak was finished. I couldn't care less what you think, Bullock. The day we turn the city over to monsters like that, is the day Gordon could have my badge. Better call an ambulance for this one, Kaz. He's pretty banged up. The EMTs are on their way. We buzzed them when we got the shots fired call.
Calvin, I want our lawyers on the phone. I'm going to sue this city dry.
Shut up, Barry.
Montoya, you okay?
What's happening, Harv? I thought the Batman was on our side. This is the second time he's had to be restrained by threat of deadly force from wasting a felon.
Maybe he's gone nuts. Maybe he's come to his senses. This city's been out of control for years, Montoya. He gets as tired as us locking up the same hairbags over and over. He'd go crazy just thinking about it.
But I thought he was different. I thought he was better than us.
Sarge, you want us to go with the ambulance?
And cup that creep to the gurney, okay?
But he might be comatose, Sarge.
I don't care, he's got a tag on his toe. Cup him!
He's unconscious, but not comatose. Vital steady. We can just run him over to Blackgate Infirmary. They got a special lockdown there for the Zanes Larkham has built. So he's down for a while. I can have a sedative ready for him if he starts to come to. The Joker kicks the doctor away from the gurney. The door is open, and they all spill out into the street. The ambulance continues up the hill as the Joker, still cuffed to the gurney, rolls away, laughing into the night. End. Bloodkin. Batman investigates a multiple homicide in a family's home. The entire family has been slaughtered. All 5 had been beaten, shot, and then flayed. Murder isn't uncommon in Gotham, but this level of mutilation is. Just as he is pondering this, Jean is accosted by a vision of his father, the avenging angel, Azrael. He admonishes his son for following a false father in Bruce Wayne. Saint Dumas appears as well and argues with Azrael, saying that he is father to them both, and Azrael served him falsely by following the way of the assassin. Jean tries to defend his father, but the spirits continue to argue over him. Azrael wants Jean to be a killer like himself, while Saint Dumas urges him to follow the path of mercy and heroism. They fight with their flaming swords, and Azrael is slain by his patron saint before Jean's astonished eyes. He pleads with Jean to avenge him as he vanishes. Approaching sirens strike him from his reverie and delusion, and Batman leaves the scene as police arrive. In his mausoleum home, the villain Abattoir breaks open his murdered family members' bones to suck the marrow from them. His insanity causes him to believe that he increases his strength, vitality, and power by consuming his family's remains, all because of an ancient curse placed upon his bloodline. While the DC Universe does certainly allow for such things to be real, there is no indication that any of his beliefs have a basis in reality. Using the Batcomputer for research, Jean finds Arnold Etchison, known to us as Abattoir, a relative of the murdered family wanted for murder. Jean barely had the presence of mind to grab some mail before he left the crime scene, getting the family name from there. He finds one more distant relative living in the Gotham area, Graham Etchison, who works at a school. Abattoir has replaced the school bus driver taking Graham's class on their field trip, just before they set out in a snowstorm. Batman was able to contact Leslie Tompkins, Bruce's oldest friend after Alfred, and she helped him find Graham's school and the bus. He races there in the Batmobile on the snowy roads. Leslie had happened to look after Graham when he was in her orphanage, just as she had helped look after young Bruce Wayne long ago, and provided Jean with the missing link from where the computer's files left off. Batman catches up with the bus just as it turns off the planned route, heading up a snow-caked mountain pass. Abattoir threatens Graham inside the bus as Batman pulls alongside it. He fires his grappling hook while leaping from the Batmobile's canopy. The Batmobile slams to a halt in the snow as the grapple catches, and Batman reels himself in to land on the bus roof. He smashes through the front window with his claws, grabbing Abattoir and yelling for Graham to grab the wheel. Jean hauls the man out of the bus and slams him down on the roof. Graham steers the bus as Batman kicks Abattoir and slashes him with his claws. The bus hits the guardrail and the children panic. Both Batman and Abattoir are thrown to the roof. Jean blocks the villain's knife with his gauntlet and cape. The bus skids to a stop, and Abattoir is pitched off the front, over the cliffside. He rolls down the hillside toward an oncoming train, but Jean can't do anything to help him. He has to act fast to save the bus from going over the edge. He attaches a line to the bus and swings around to brace it on a strong tree, holding the bus steady while the children evacuate, and giving Abattoir the chance he needs to escape by boarding the train. Graham thanks the Batman for saving them, as well as the kids, but he simply warns him that that man may try again, and to be on his guard. On his long walk back to Gotham, he thinks about the costume, deciding that it needs further improvement. The cape itself must become a weapon. Back in the cave, the system takes him and he begins automatic writing, designing his Batman's next evolution. KnightQuest, The Search, Quarry, Part 1.
Hurting then, Mr. Bruce Wayne? Well, best get used to it, because that's what the rest of your life will likely be all about. Pain. And you brought it on yourself. You're a fool, Wayne. An arrogant, over-moneyed, irresponsible fool.
I take it the prognosis is not favorable, Dr. Holder?
It could have been, if you'd acted sanely when you first injured yourself. If you'd stayed home and minded a good physician. But no, not you. Not the Gotham playboy. You had to traipse around the world, doing heaven knows what. Pleasuring yourself, I shouldn't doubt.
What I did was not much fun.
You ask if the prognosis is favorable? No, sir, it is not. I'd say you've doomed yourself to a lifetime of pain and paralysis.
Is there nothing we can do?
Nothing Bruce would allow, Alfred. No, instead of taking months of bed rest, Bruce presses on with his search for Dr. Shondra Kinsolving while Jack Drake recuperates and prepares for a journey home. He remains convinced that Shondra was involved with the death of a small English town, though he can't figure out why she would bother to stage her own kidnapping. His only goal at the moment is to find her, while at that moment, her stepbrother is injecting her with a mind-altering drug to make her more compliant. In his disguise of Sir Hemingford Grey, Bruce is in his hotel room when he notices a man sneaking in the window. He throws the phone at him, knocking him back out. Alfred rushes to his aid as more men enter, and Bruce shoots them with tranquilizer darts from his cane. A larger man enters, and Bruce tries to use knockout gas on him, but he waves the cloud into Bruce and Alfred. He reveals he is wearing a gas mask, and he pulls a knife. Bruce defends himself with his cane, but after a few moments he doubles over in pain. The man rushes in, but when he is blocked yet again, he tries to throw the knife instead. Bruce strikes it in midair and it flips upwards. He catches it by the tip, and when the big man pulls a gun, Bruce throws the knife back, unerringly striking the man's forehead with the blunt hilt and knocking him out. Benedict Ask reminds his stepsister of their childhood, how their foster father tormented them, his religious notions disturbed by their apparent devilish abilities to heal and harm, how their mother looked on and did nothing. At the same time, Bruce and Alfred are hearing the same story from Shondra's, or Sandra's as her name was back then, foster mother, whom they have tracked down in London. And so it went, until one day Sandra and Benedict were so afraid of their foster father that they wished him dead, and then it happened before the children's eyes, as if by magic. Benedict tells Shondra to focus on her hatred for her mother, and his machine directs his thought and her power to kill the woman before Bruce and Alfred's astonished eyes. They recognize it from the victims of the small town, and realize the trail of clues is being closed off at the source. Quarry, Part 2. Shondra is being tormented in her mind by a flood of memories. The drugs her stepbrother is using on her are having unintended side effects, muddling her mind and regressing it to a childlike state. Benedict directs her thoughts to Sir Hemingford Grey, how he could have saved her at the party, but he let her walk away, and he tries to use the machine to kill him like the others. Since Sir Hemingford Grey does not actually exist, however, all Bruce feels is a strong headache and weakness, and the distinct feeling that if Sir Hemingford had existed, he would have just died. Alfred takes Bruce to the hospital immediately, as he is about to collapse. The doctors there tell him the same thing as all the others, that he needs to rest.
What do you think you are doing?
This is Monday. I've got until Thursday.
Absolutely not. You heard what that doctor said.
Asp thinks Hemingford Grey is dead. That gives me...
No! Bruce, I have never questioned you before, nor have I for one moment been disloyal. You have given me an extraordinary life, a life I have cherished and hope to continue cherishing. But I will not be a part of your self-destruction. Anything but that. If you do not obey the doctor's orders, I shall resign my post.
Please, try to understand. I'm nothing compared to the ideals that I serve. If I've got to die in that service, the sacrifice would be little enough.
In that case, Mr. Wayne, I hereby tender my resignation, effective immediately. Good night, sir.
I think he means it.
Taxi! Wayne Manor, if you please. I shall direct you. You kidding me, pal? That's more than 20 miles outside the city limits. Ah, you are familiar with the area. An excellent quality for a taximan to possess. I commend you. Hurry, please. Call us a tip? Lousy $6.75 all the way out here? It is precisely 15% of the fare. I believe that is the recommended rate. A cobweb. Disgraceful. Dust. Barbaric.
What do you want?
Hmm?
I asked you a question.
I came looking for you.
You found me.
May I ask you to remove the mask and to speak in your normal voice?
Okay.
I have come to ask for your help.
For yourself or for him?
For Mr. Wayne.
Listen, he quit. I'm the Batman now.
Yes, precisely. You are the Batman, and he needs the Batman.
Bruce Wayne needs me?
Someone very powerful will try to kill him soon. He refuses to take precautions. His only hope is for you to watch over him and intervene when it becomes necessary.
Not interested. Sorry, Mr. Pennyworth.
I could appeal to your vanity. I could tell you that Mr. Wayne's enemy could be the most dangerous criminal on earth, and that to capture him would be a splendid feather in your cap.
Yes.
But I shall not. Instead, I ask a simple question. Are you what you claim to be? Are you the Batman?
Don't doubt it for a second.
And would the Batman refuse to help someone in mortal danger? Would the Batman condone murder? Would he, Jean-Paul?
Tell me.
Mr. Wayne is a patient at Gotham General Hospital. If he's not there, you might look for Sir Hemingford Grey. Batman should require no more information than that.
I'll find him. I'll save him.
I am certain you will.
What about you?
I shall clean this grand old house. For the last time.
Bruce goes out in public as Sir Hemingford and causes a scene, disturbing shop owners and breaking displays, guaranteeing himself a spot in the news. When Asp sees that he is still alive, he knows something has gone wrong. He sends a team of men to kidnap Sir Hemingford and bring him in, which is exactly what Bruce wanted. However, when the men attempt to board their boat, they find Batman waiting for them, and Jean-Paul leaps to defend Bruce, firing shurikens into their arms to make the goons drop their guns. Batman punches the thug's lights out and blocks the gunfire of another with his cape and armor. He backhands the man into the man in the wheelchair, sending it towards the edge of the dock. Jean breaks the gunman's wrists and he surrenders as the wheelchair goes over the edge of the dock, but Batman knocks him out anyway. Only then he hears a second cry for help and moves to rescue the wheelchair. The man he pulls out of it says that he's not Wayne. He's just a decoy the real kidnappers set up, while Sir Hemingford Grey is carried away into the night aboard a small boat. Quarry, Part 3. Batman barks questions at the thugs he's captured, but none of them reveal anything about the other team. This time, Bruce is on his own. Bruce has been placed with Shondra for safekeeping, and they finally have a chance to talk.
No, I'm not. I keep slipping in and out of childhood. 'Cause I guess I can't stand the things I've done. Monstrous, horrible violence. After Benny and I killed our father, I was scared to use my power. I ran away, took another name, became a doctor to make up for what we did.
Isn't she just a precious little saint?
It wasn't your fault.
Yes, it was. 'Cause I did hate him. And I did something to Benny, too. He was normal. But when my mind touched his, he changed.
We've got to get out of here. Can you drive? There has to be a vehicle.
I can't drive. I'm too little. But maybe you could change into the Batman, and he could take us for a ride.
Gray's Batman? Could it be possible? That's why he kept beating me.
You know? Benedict and a henchman come in to kill the man they now know as Batman. Bruce sneaks up on the thug by hiding in a closet and tackles him with his chair. Shondra grabs Benedict's leg and trips him, but he kicks her in the face. The henchman goes for his gun, but Bruce mounts him from behind and slams his face into the floor, then throws the gun away. The island is bombarded by a heavy storm, and just then a boat is thrown into the building, narrowly missing Benedict and Shondra. The henchman tries to choke Bruce, but he grabs the man's collar and slams his head into the floor again, while Benedict wanders, dazed for a moment. Bruce puts everything he has into one arm, punching the henchman over and over again. He stops himself when the man stops moving. Enough. Shondra. Shondra.
Bruce?
Something I have to tell you. Back when it all began, when you were kidnapped, I was on my way to ask you if you'd marry me.
How very touching. The tattered and wounded knight declares his intentions to the fair lady. Romance in the midst of chaos. But alas, there'll be no happy ending. Not for you. For me, yes. I will escape with Sister Dear, and tomorrow we will kill a president. The next day I shall be rich, and you shall be among the missing. Even in your sorry state, you're too dangerous to live.
Bruce stabs Benedict's gun hand with a needle.
Ah! You filthy!
Brother.
Shondra touches Benedict's arm, and he screams and collapses. I killed him.
No, I did. But I didn't mean to, any more than I meant to kill my father. I was trying to forgive them, help them, love them. And somehow, love got twisted into pain and terror.
Shondra, I can't move. I felt something gentle flow into me from her touch, something that soothed and calmed and healed. All that long night, the house moaned and shuddered as the storm ravaged the island. And in the morning, the sky was clean and new. I filled myself with the sweet air and laughed and walked slowly toward the sea. Somehow, I knew we would find a way home. Fritz's body washed onto a beach in Puerto Rico. Apparently he tried to escape from Santa Prisca by boat during the storm. Fatal mistake.
Asp?
I suppose he's buried in an unmarked grave.
You bought this estate for Shondra?
And staffed it with the best medical help I could find. There's no hope for her recovery. But she's safe, and she has everything she'll ever need. How's our girl today?
Mr. Wayne, she's just the sweetest child.
Hi, Sandra.
Hello, Mr. Bruce.
You feeling all right?
I feel wonderful.
I'm glad. End. Outgunned. Batman fights a group of gunmen in a subway. Gotham is drowning in a sea of crime, and the high water mark is nowhere in sight. Each time he escalates, they match force with him. A simple subway smash and grab turns into a firefight. Meaningless, senseless slaughter from the meanest of crimes.
People die for the contents of their wallets, gunned down for the change in their pocket or a coat with a designer label. Young animals who don't think beyond the next minute. All they want is everything they see. Homicidal children gratifying their needs at the point of a gun. Batman tackles the last gunman into a newsstand. The crusade is endless. There are more of them on the street every night. The city bursts these monsters. It chides them for theft and assault, scolds them for murder. Where is the punishment? The system subsides. His body and spirit are left exhausted. Like a weakness in his soul, he begins to doubt the value of this crusade. Only when the system steals his will are his convictions strong, as though his identity is being suborned. Batman retreats to his subway rocket, swallowed in darkness like this benighted city. Hawk and Bunny are gun nuts, and they snipe a man at a fancy party. They're amateur professional assassins, people who bought so much stuff from Guns and Ammo magazine they qualify as supervillains. They celebrate another successful job and head home together. Detective Bullock summons Batman with a lie about Bane to alert him to the gun nuts coming to town. That was one of the mayor's buddies who got shot, and snipers and Batman both hang out on rooftops, so Harvey asks old Longears to keep an eye out. He grudgingly agrees. Hawk and Bunny stage a daring daylight robbery at a gun show of all places, blasting apart the display case holding the huge gun they want. Nearly every person there draws their own gun, and they face the criminals. Hawk takes them on with his new gigantic weapon, and with glee. The patrons all duck and seek cover as Hawk strafes the area, lost in his thrill. Bunny's ready to leave. Neither one sees Batman in the rafters above, and Jean comes down on them hard. Bunny recovers and fires, forcing Batman to back off. Jean dodges her gunfire as Hawk gets up and joins her assault. Realizing he's outgunned, Jean retreats by grappling up to the ceiling, out of visual range. Hawk and Bunny begin to make their escape, but then Bunny collapses. She took a round from one of the gun show patrons, and although she tells Hawk to leave her, he carries his bleeding love away from the crime scene while Batman watches from above. Mortal remains. Abattoir, killer of bloodkin, still stalks the dark. His cousin Graham Etchison remains missing, and Jean Paul Valley, the new Batman, refuses to rest. Somewhere in the endless night, Gunhawk and Abattoir mock him, both unfinished business. Gunhawk can wait. He roars through streets splashed red nightly, through neighborhoods choking on violence and death, block by bloody block. He loathes this city, infested with scavenger-trailing predators. But for a crime fighter obsessed with proving himself, the bright hell of Gotham has become a dark paradise of opportunity. His mind flashes on Abattoir's sick, twisted face framed by lank, greasy hair, and he jacks the car into higher gear. Surging faster through the city's arteries like some dark and dangerous antidote to a suicide-spreading poison. Fully convinced he is the only cure, and completely oblivious to any and all potential side effects.
Ah!
A woman narrowly avoids being run down by the Batmobile.
Would have killed me in a Gotham second.
2 more minutes, Cousin Graham, and the pain you feel now will be a memory of lost bliss, when the inexorable weight of death abruptly grows heavier.
You're mad.
Not at all, Cousin Graham. I'm simply hungry for the nourishment of your soul, and your dying flesh feeds my life force. 1 more minute now, Cousin Graham. 1 more minute of savored anticipation before the next weight falls.
No, you can't keep doing this.
Are you going to stop me when even the high and mighty Batman couldn't? 1 swift stab in the back would have killed you long ago, but 100 slow punctures would be so much more interesting, as befits a true abattoir.
But please, please.
Throat's getting thick, isn't it? You'll probably choke on your dying whimper when it comes, but right now...
Ah!
Feel free to simply scream. In the changed cave, a boy works the huge Craig computers, filled with more worry than wonder. Not easy being the Batman's sidekick when he wants to strangle me on sight, even if the urge was planted by the system's brainwashing. Having a partner in his mind is the same as needing help,
which pretty much writes zilch for the Batman-Robin team. Still don't know much about the Order of Saint Dumas or the system, but 10 to 1, it's programmed him to succeed at all costs as the avenging angel Azrael. And now that he's the new Batman, the programming has become an obsession. He's driven to succeed, hell-bent on topping the first Batman, even at the cost of ruthlessness. But if Jean-Paul is more than capable of doing the things Batman must do, which he is, I'm not at all sure he's qualified to decide what those things should be. Being good enough isn't enough if you're not good. Like they say in history class, Mussolini made the trains run on time, but his main man Hitler was using trains to freight people like cattle to slaughter. Not that Jean-Paul is anything like those two, but as long as Abattoir remains the only lead in Graham Etchison's abduction, the Batman's gonna get my help, whether he wants it or... Bingo. Finally hacked the municipal tax record system, with a full list of the real estate owned by Henry Etchison. If his nephew Abattoir is hiding out somewhere, there's a good chance it's in one of these properties. And probably the one with the least chance of discovery. Batman has the same list of properties Robin just compiled, but from a different source. He arrives at Abattoir's lair just in time to catch him leaving. He fires shurikens at him, pinning his cloak to the wall. Abattoir ducks Jean's punch and rips free of the wall. He runs toward a foundry, and Batman stalks after him, in no hurry now that he's found his quarry. The villain is convinced that if he spills more blood, he can gain the power to defeat Batman. He tries to kill a guard as he enters the foundry gates. Batman sees that people are in danger, and now he rushes. Robin arrives just in time to join the chase after Batman. Abattoir rampages through the active foundry as the men flee from him or plead for their lives. Batman fires shurikens into his knife hand before he can kill anyone. Batman jump kicks Abattoir into an elevator.
No more bus, Abattoir. No more kids. No more escape. Blood, but not mine.
Abattoir takes the elevator up. Jean grapples onto the wire mesh elevator car and retracts himself up, swinging up from underneath it. He swing kicks into the fence wall, caving it in and striking Abattoir. Terrific. Just in time for the traffic jam. Abattoir runs onto a catwalk and grabs a huge wrench.
Do it, Abattoir. Take your best swing, but it won't matter. You're already dead.
Jean ducks the thrown wrench. Batman tackles Abattoir off of the catwalk and over a vat of molten metal. He grapples away to safety as Abattoir grabs a hanging chain, saving himself for the moment. Out of the way! Let me through!
Help me! Can't hold on much longer!
With fierce fire coursing through his blood, he stands at a moment of defining choice. Should he fire killing blades or saving line?
Please, I'm going to fall.
His arm wavers, and then his mind reels, spun off into conflict and confusion.
You! Both of you!
And haunted by ghosts.
Father, and Saint Dumas himself! You have reached your path's end, my son. With one final act, your long crusade will be over. Slay the enemy!
No! Slay the sin, not the sinner! You crusade for light, clad in darkness which is but a mask. Choose salvation, not damnation.
Let him live, and he will only kill again. The blood he spills forever staining your hands. Do your work, assassin. Enfold him, avenging angel of death, in your dark wings. Shoot your blades. Kill him.
Cast your line. Save him. Help me, please.
No! Stop confusing me. I choose neither one, and you can fight it out between yourselves. You decide his fate, and leave me alone.
Ah! No! He did it. He let him die.
2 hours later, just past dawn, his head threatens to explode from a pain he has known in the past but no longer remembers. The pain of the system and all its dread, dark secrets planted deeply in his mind. No. The pain rips, and for a black, staggering moment, he fears he is losing his mind. No. Or has already lost it. Then he screams.
No!
Tink. Rat. Tink. Ah!
Graham Etchison is dead, the first truly innocent life lost as a result of Jean's recklessness and his madness. Blackness reigns rampant. This night's quest has failed. The shadow of the bat falls upon Commissioner Gordon, the long, dark night. The long, dark Gotham night is over. In his cave beneath a neglected, decaying mansion, a man considers the result of his nocturnal calling. In the time since he has first put on the cape and cowl, Jean-Paul Valley has saved his adopted city 12 times and more. He sent criminals to jail, to the hospital, and running scared right out of town. But tonight, a line has been crossed. Tonight, for the first time, a man has died because of him. Jean-Paul Valley feels no guilt, no remorse. The serial killer Abattoir had killed many times, all members of his own family. The man deserved to die, before his victim list was extended even further. He understands now why some men murder. He's glimpsed the awesome power that death unleashes. He's tasted man's oldest, darkest thrill. He doesn't feel good, and he doesn't feel bad. Jean-Paul Valley feels righteous. Gordon has also been up all night. Not only does it appear as if Batman willingly let a man die, but he was the only link to his innocent victim, Graham Etchison. Gordon orders every spare man to find a way to find him. He had always known it would get harder the older he became. But not even in his nightmares did he dream it would get this hard. Fully aware of the dangers of sleep deprivation, he naps fitfully, stealing what rest he can, between troubled dreams and unwanted images. But Jean-Paul Valley is the Batman, guardian of Gotham, on a grim and lonely crusade to rid the city of all its many evils. The Batman does not make mistakes. He has no time for regrets. He only strives to become better at what he does. The police, running down any location with any connection to the family, eventually find poor Graham Etchison's body. Gordon waits by the bat signal. He scans the rooftops. He's been caught too often. Not tonight. Relax. For the first time in months, he feels the need for nicotine. He still carried the pipe to show that he'd beaten the habit. It always used to calm him down. Never mind what the doctor said. Surely just one fill couldn't hurt. No. What's the sense of compounding one stupidity with another? I hope this is important. It is. I want to know who you are. I know you're not Batman. Not the one who's looked out for this city. Not the one I know. The Batman I know, not that I know him very well, would never bring dishonor to the cause he serves. Batman would never commit murder. You're implying I would? I'm saying you have. You left Abattoir to die in that foundry, and because he did die, we had no way of finding Graham Etchison. Until now. Let me quote from Detective Montoya's report. Etchison was in some kind of homemade torture machine. Death must have taken several hours and caused intense pain. So, what's your point? So one man died. Against that death weigh this. Abattoir had already slaughtered at least 25 people. His insanity was incurable. He seems to escape from jail at will. How many more do you think he'd have killed? I didn't murder him. I left him to die so the decent folk of Gotham need never fear him again. That's not your decision to make. We have a system of law, which the Batman has always worked outside of. I still do. Your rules do not apply to me. Are you telling me you'll kill again? I'm telling you I'll carry out my mission, my crusade, using whatever means I deem fit. Does human life mean nothing to you, you cold, calculating? Gordon takes a swing at Batman. Jean steps out of the way, and Jim almost falls off the roof. Ah! Batman catches him. On the contrary, Commissioner, human life means everything to me. Decent human life. If what you say was true, Commissioner, I'd let you fall to your death now. Unless one of us changes his attitude, the friction between us can only grow. He pulls Jim back onto the roof. Understand this. I am the Batman. I will always be the Batman, and I will cleanse the city my way. Batman turns to leave as Jim reaches in his coat.
Commissioner Gordon aims his gun at Batman. I know I'm not the only one who doesn't murder, Commissioner. Don't use the signal again unless it's important. You know what happened to the boy who cried wolf. Batman flies off into the night. Damn! Damn, damn, damn! Commissioner Gordon smashes the bat signal with his gun, yelling in frustration. While grappling away from the GCPD, congratulating himself on keeping his cool with Gordon, Batman sees a crowd of thugs rioting. He dives down into them, striking like a force of nature as his rage erupts. Him? A murderer? He's saved the city a dozen times already, from the Scarecrow, from the Joker, all those other maniacs. And what about Bane? Who took Bane down? Gotham would have been crawling beneath his bloody rule if it hadn't been for the Batman. But because some kill-crazy maniac brought his doom on his own head, Gordon has the audacity to accuse him of murder? The man should have kissed his feet. Jean hurls thugs about like ragdolls and unleashes a flurry of hard strikes on them. He tears through the thugs like a tornado, unstoppable in his anger and empowered by the system's training, his crusade fueled by an unthinking, righteous zeal.
Wow, what a souvenir this'll make! Shh.
A tourist snaps a picture of him in mid-punch, and he stops. Batman walks over and crushes the man's camera. No photographs. He feels better, but the rage still smolders. It's going to be a long, hard night.
Burglar here with crushed windpipes. Claims Batman stamped on him. Ambulance required. Oriole Plaza. Victim is suspected drug dealer. With a welding torch. I'm telling you, the creep is chained to the railings.
Wanted on 8 counts of assault. And get this, both arms are broken.
Disturbance reported. Luigi Fuente's restaurant. Gunshots heard.
He feels old before his time. Weary. He tells himself everything changes. This is the modern world. Things have to be different. But he wonders why all the changes seem to be for the worse. He wonders why a week doesn't pass without his men bringing in some 11-year-old with a gun already sporting notches. He wonders where his friend went. Why he feels so helplessly alone. Why he feels so betrayed. Batman returns to the cave. Dawn, and he can hardly wait. The rage is gone now, dissipated with the night, but in its place something new is burning. The system is kicked in. His mind is lapsed into a light trance, and instructions implanted by his father long ago come bubbling to the surface. Why, he does not yet know, but this day will be born the ultimate Batman. Sighting. Semi-auto. Full auto. Midnight duel. Jean tests his new fully automatic shuriken gauntlets on the firing range. He forged new armor. He built a new weapon. The Crusade goes into its final stage now. It has claimed its first victim, the animal in human guise called Abattoir. The final campaign for the Dark City begins. Death or victory. No compromise. No quarter. Abattoir died for his sins against the city. He lets the system take him. He surrenders to its fury. Gunhawk bursts into a hospital with a bleeding bunny in his arms and demands she receive medical attention, essentially taking the entire hospital hostage. The police set up a cordon around the hospital as Bunny is seen to. The police allow Batman to enter the hospital. Hawk leaves the operating room to check out a loud boom. Batman has blown a hole in the floor, not willing to risk any established route in case of booby traps. Hawk soon finds him and opens fire, and Jean dodges.
Thought I killed you, bat creep! Whoa!
Cyclic rate of 10 shurikens a second. He lets Gunhawk have a 5-second burst. He can afford it. He's got 2,000 razor-thin blades held in place in the back magazine with a slight magnetic charge. He's a walking gun chip. Gunhawk responds with his own giant gun, which is more than powerful enough to pierce Jean's armor. He has to change the game. Batman fires his flamethrower, scaring Hawk into backing off. He lets his gun point down as he turns and inadvertently cuts a hole in the floor beneath himself and falls through. Jean follows him down, into the dark. Gunhawk lures Batman with some burning cloth and opens fire on him, but Jean picks up a hospital bed and slams it into him. He runs and tries to take a hostage, grabbing someone in a bed. It's just a CPR dummy though, so he drops it. Gunhawk tries to fire again, but the large gun jams. Batman tackles him, thinking that he's a remorseless killer, exactly the same as Abattoir. Both deserve to die. The Crusade cannot end while trash like this live.
Batman punches Gunhawk from on top of him.
Gotham will house them, contain them, and one day they'll be free to take up their wicked ways again. And they'll call it compassion.
The incoming SWAT team find them.
Multiple targets. No hostages this floor. Shoot! Shoot!
Batman deploys tear gas on the police, allowing him to keep fighting Gunhawk. He slams him through a door and they fall down a stairwell together. Anything you say can be used against you. Hold the recital, Kitch. This guy can't hear you.
Call a doctor. He may need medical attention.
He's trying to talk. If it's anything less than a full confession, he's wasted his breath.
Bunny. She's going to be all right. They got the bullet out. She's in stable condition. Think he heard me, Harv?
Think I give a rat's behind Montoya? This guy looks good for a shooter in the Talmadge hit.
And why do you say that?
Call it a hunch.
You mean call it the Batman? Jealous, Lieutenant? That I don't have a psychotic masked man shuffling in my shadow? Hardly jealous, Bullock. KnightQuest, the conclusion. Turning point. Tim Drake was so tired he fell asleep in his bedroom wearing his full Robin costume. He only had time enough to get rid of the mask and throw on a robe in time to greet the housekeeper.
What?
I wasn't expecting this reaction. A little disappointment, maybe, but
why?
well, maybe I put in enough years. I know I made the decision to hand things over to Paul in an emergency situation, but it's turning out to be for the best. You and he have things in hand. You dealt with every threat to Gotham that's come up these past months. I've never spent much time just being Bruce Wayne. It's not too late to try to have a life. This could be a second chance for me. I'm gonna take a shot at it. Join the human race.
Look, Bruce, there are some things I've got to tell you. Flight 137 from London Heathrow, now arriving, gate G32. That's my father's plane.
We'll meet him at arrivals.
My whole world's falling apart. My mind's spinning at the thought of Paul continuing his rampage in Gotham. And then all my worries are pushed to one side. Dad!
I didn't have a chance to bring you anything, son.
I wasn't expecting anything, Dad. Just you.
Quite an adventure I had. I hope you and Miss McIlvaine got along all right.
Nothing to worry about now.
Well, here comes another moment I've been dreading. Tim, you're saying he killed Abattoir? And all this? Why didn't you tell me? I thought I left things in capable hands, but this...
You couldn't have done anything. Then you started talking about retiring.
I had to know. I left you here as my conscience, Tim. You were supposed to handle my problems.
But I'm not you. I tried going against him once and he nearly killed me. He sealed the Batcave. He even had some run-ins with the police.
You say he sealed the cave?
Every entrance I know of.
Then we make an entrance. There. It looks like he never comes up here. We'll have to go down to him.
He's changed the place a lot since you left, Bruce. There may be traps. The lights are out down here.
We may have to wait for Paul.
Power's up.
And the car's here.
He doesn't use the Batmobile that much anymore. He's got another way of getting around town. But I haven't been able to figure that out.
Did you feel that?
A rumbling, like a jet engine. He's back.
Tell me this doesn't seem weird to Bruce.
You tripped the alarms. What are you doing here, Wayne? Look at you. You look like what you become. A monster. You have a valid reason for coming here?
Yes, I do. I'm taking back the mantle of the Bat before you spill any more blood on it. You don't deserve it. You never did.
You left me with a city to protect. I did as I saw fit. How many lives would have been spared but for your sufferance of animals like Abattoir, or Poison Ivy, or the Riddler, or the Joker? Maybe it's you who never deserved to wear this cowl, Wayne.
I've heard just about enough, Paul.
Not Paul. Never again.
Jean catches Bruce's punch.
I am the Batman! I will always be the Batman! And no one, saint or devil, can take it from me!
Batman throws Bruce Wayne into a console.
Ugh.
Bruce!
Don't be here when I get back, Wayne.
Your head.
It's nothing. I have to think. Decisions to be made.
I've already made my decision. Jean Paul's not getting away with this.
Robin, it's not time for rash action.
Excuse me, Bruce, but it's exactly the right time.
Robin drives his Redbird through a shortcut, coming out right next to Jean and the Batmobile. They race along a dirt road, ramming each other like bumper cars. Robin follows Batman onto the expressway, both of them the wrong lane. Robin realizes how insane this is and quickly pulls off the road.
Brakes lock up. Tires screaming. Want to close my eyes, but I can't. How can you beat a guy who's not afraid to die? Maybe this one's for the grown-ups to handle. I think I might have busted out a taillight on the bat ride. Bonehead play, Drake.
You're all right?
Nothing hurt but my insurance premiums. He got away. So what's next?
Paul's not going to give up the mantle without a fight. But I'm fooling myself to think that I'm ready to take him on.
Then who can?
Only the Batman can bring him down. But I can't take up the mantle until I've regained all my strength. I'm physically fit enough, but my reflexes are shot. The physical memory is gone.
But it took years to condition yourself, Bruce. How can you get back to 100% in time to take on Paul?
A crash course. Intensive training at the hands of a master.
And who's this master?
Well, I can think of one who might be interested in having me as a student. But she might want my soul in exchange. Good night, Tim.
I know which master he's talking about. And if I'm right, he's signing on for a semester in hell. But I have to remember that for Bruce, it's a refresher course. He'll make it through, and he'll take back Gotham. Just like he brought back my father. Because he's the only one who can.
Next, Night's End. The End. I always had a soft spot in my heart for Jean Paul Valley's Batman. First off, let's just be honest, his costume and its evolution just look cool as hell. No, he shouldn't be Batman, of course not, but it was still cool to have someone so different doing the job. I love the electric blue Superman era as well, so look for that from me someday. I loved anything that changed the game and they stuck to it for a good long while, really explored the concept to its logical end. Aquaman's Hook Hand is another one, a game changer that ended up being so popular, it defined the character for a generation of fans. So I see KnightQuest as a story along those lines, a what-if scenario carried out in the real world, with real consequences. Also, no one can claim the writers were being lazy or chasing trends. I think you can see that Jean's downfall, his psychological journey, and its endpoint were planned from the start. This was never meant as a sales gimmick any more than the death of Superman was. In fact, it's almost certain that at some point during KnightQuest they began losing sales, as Bruce fans simply gave up waiting, saying, "I'll pick it up again once he's back." No, Jean Paul never really caught on with the Bat fans, by and large. He had his devotees, and still does, and it's to them that I dedicate this video. And I recommend you check out his Asriel series, as while the only thing I know about it is that Dennis O'Neil created and wrote it, that's enough for me to say it's probably quite a good book if you get into it. He never did bad work, and he seemed to really care about the character in the project. Now, have fun with Night's End, and double thanks to anyone actually watching this in the series as a trilogy. Prodigal will be coming relatively soon, Dick Grayson's turn in the Batsuit, and this saga will then really be complete. Until next time, thanks for watching.